live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. It's another episode of Venture Maidens. Oh my gosh, episode 62. It's good. It's good to be here in the 60s. Feeling loose, feeling groovy. How are we all doing tonight? 62 years old.
Fabulous. And there will be a time when we are saying this to each other about our actual ages.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Oh, I feel it today. I already can't hear out of one ear.
Hey, my knee's been acting up because the weather changed.
I went for a run yesterday, so I'm also hurting. I found there was a track like within 10 minutes of my house, so I have no excuses left. But whatever. We're in a world of fantasy where everybody can do everything with their 19 strength scores, and let's live in that world. So hey, everybody. Welcome back. This is the Venture Maidens. We are a D&D / Tales of the Valiant actual play live stream and podcast. This is a very adult-themed show. You can expect lots of fucking swearing. And also we just, in general, keep up a content warning for body horror just because of graphic fantasy violence descriptions. I don't anticipate any other content warnings coming up today, but you never know, so keep your eye on the chat, and then also in the podcast show notes we'll post content warnings as well. But I think that's the business. I'm so excited. This is our second episode of Autumn, joined by our new maiden, Morana, aka Brittany Quintero in real life. So I'm stoked to be here and to see for this super fun onboarding episode, basically, as we get into the group. So, hey, everybody. My name is Celeste Konowich, and tonight I will be your game master.
I'm Brittany Quintero, your Eldrin cleric. There we go. Yep.
You'll get it. Yeah, no, it's good.
I keep saying moon elf warlock. Yeah. Sorry. Eldrin cleric, Morana.
I'm Nassim, and I'm your orc fighter and ferocious druid, Tony Silvertail.
Ooh. Ferocious, I like it. Yeah. And I'm Sage, and I will be your swinging satyr bard, Aoife Flannery.
Woo! Oh, loving it. Loving this autumn energy. Yes. So last time was the very first time we met Morana and began a new season, a new arc here. So obviously we have some mysteries in front of us and some decisions and all kinds of stuff to get into today. But before we do that, we got to do a recap. We got to hit you with a sweet, sweet recap. What happened last time, maidens?
Well, myself and Aoife have been on the road, just us being a fabulous duo for some time after Lou's departure. I'm failing to remember what Rook has been up to. I think she's been doing her own odd jobs here and there.
Basically, kind of, you split up. Now that there's only 3 of you total, things have been real tough. So she's been running around basically doing intel and missions and stuff to kind of divide up the leads, the many, many leads you're following up on.
Yeah. And we were drawn towards Ashtar because of some raiding parties that were trying to intercept some goods and supplies deliveries over to the city that's been kind of cut off from the rest of the world, the rest of the plains. And where's my notes? We had also gotten some intel about Melvin and how they had been, they're like, back in the day, their family were aligned with...
Tavir.
Melwyn. What did I write?
Melwyn Tavir is the one who's, she is now the former, only the Duchess of Phelan, who is now sort of the interim Sarina. While they're still resolving that situation and waiting for somebody else to be crowned.
Yeah, I just have extremely lazy handwriting, and I go between Melvin and Melwyn in my notes. I have both names written down. Yeah, they were aligned with an Eldrin family called the Rothwells, and they were a dark wizarding family who we learned that their crypt is actually out near Ashtar as well. So we wanted to go check that out, see if we could gain any leads from that. And we found this crypt, which was covered, overgrown in weeds and vines. Tony
creepy
used
vines.
her very creepy vines. I spoke to them with my druid powers, and they seem to be welcoming in the worst way possible.
Get in our crypt.
Like we had to also be we had to like prove our worth to be invited in. I think because they wanted to suck our life energy, really truly is what that meant. And
not
we
wrong.
did we were like, all right, here's some more vine energy for you. And then we went into the crypt and heard a little bit of tapping, some noises and knocking in one of those coffins.
Tapping upon the
our
door.
chamber door. Nevermore. Yeah. And in the meantime, we kind of started things off. Brittany, you want to tell us a little bit about your vision and where you woke up and such?
Good heavens. That was Brittany's worst fucking... Is it an irrational fear? Is it...
I think
it's a pretty
waking
rational
up in a box
fear.
is a pretty rational fear.
Right. Very, very claustrophobic. And then by extension, Morana, it was very easy to roleplay that. So she just kind of like zapped into consciousness and was like, is aware that she might have memories, but just like doesn't know what the fuck's going on. And, she's just like, what's going on? And manages to get out, discovers she's got some weird strength, meets you guys, equally freaked out. She doesn't know, it's like, I've never been in a coma, but I wonder if maybe like that might
like
be what
that. Yeah, for sure. Just the, total.
Maybe even more specifically, like waking up. Imagine being born, but you're born an adult.
A real Benjamin Button situation.
Yeah, because like she didn't. It's not like she woke up from being unconscious for. You know what I mean? Like I think it's like she's existing and doesn't like. It's like, oh shit, what? I have fully formed thoughts. Anyway, yeah. Yeah, so but she's like relieved to not be in the sarcophagus and very confused.
Oh. Yeah. So you got Morana out of there, realized she was just as weirded out by the situation as you were. And then what happened?
Yeah, we were investigating the names of these basically of these coffins, these like marble coffins that were like built into the ground, and one of them, the one that Morana was on, was marked with these like very foreboding sigils that were inscribed in ash on the outside of her coffin, and we eventually figured out that like someone used some very high level magic in order to like trap her soul in this body in this place. And once she stepped out of it, eventually the ghosts and spirits of this place began to become really restless and eventually started attacking us. And so we just made out with our lives. And we discovered that Morana's got some very cool undead fighting powers, which was awesome. So keeping them at bay from us. So she is channeling her divinity from the great god Hades. And eventually we make it out. And as we're standing outside of the mausoleum, catching our breath, feeling safer as we are in the light of day again, Aoife, out of the corner of her eye, spots this very faint ghost of like a woman in white who handed Aoife this book, and it just reeked of evil magic.
I believe I described it as a sort of a flesh-colored leather that this thing was bound in, with those weird same kind of sigils that you saw on Morana's coffin. This weird kind of scrawling text that none of you really understood, and sort of bends the mind to look at. Yeah. So good shit. Yeah, that's what happened. So now we're going to dive right back in. So obviously, from here, Tony and Aoife, you are in a sort of unique situation where you've inherited, one, this book, this very strange, insidious feeling book, and then a person who seems to have no idea what happened to them. And you made a bunch of insight checks and everything last time too, and you do feel like Morana's pretty genuine in her explanation, like, I am also scared and confused. But Morana, in this moment too, I think towards the end of last time, you had really gotten that sense, that sense of divine purpose, we'll say, that somehow you know that this is exactly where you're supposed to be, and you are supposed to be with these people, for better or worse, whatever that means. It was no coincidence.
Say it's an inkling.
Yeah, it was no coincidence that you woke up here in this time, in this place, when these people were here.
I think I'm probably in survival mode, and I'm also don't have any other options. I have no idea what's going on. Yeah. We fought with each other, so this is a good bet to come along with you guys.
Yeah, so that feels good for Aoife and Tony. I think it's kind of in your court. What are you doing? What are you doing with this person? You taking them home? You need to like have a little sidebar. If you're standing, outside this crypt now, it is a lovely sunny day now, and you are safe from whatever horrors are trapped still in that tomb. For the first time in a while, you don't have something directly to rush off to do. Right? Like, you were sent here to gain more information about the Rothwells and see if anything could come from that. So you have this book. But yeah, what's the game plan, you two?
Well, first of all, thanks. You didn't have to stay or help us out without any of that, so thanks for helping us and sticking around, I guess.
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, same, like, back at you. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, but I'm really glad that we all got out of there safely. This is hard to say because, like, I just want to understand what's going on. I'm hoping maybe you guys might have an idea, because I have no idea, like, why. Maybe I just need to eat. I don't know. What are we all doing here?
Question.
I look to Aoife and I'm like, what are we? You wanna? Should we just let him know what brought us here? You guys talk about this for a sec?
I think I'm probably very preoccupied with, like, looking at my things.
Yeah, you're
too.
in the sunlight for the first
that.
time too, right? You're actually like seeing all of your stuff and your person for the first time, and there is.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's more of like a knowing look to Aoife of, like, we've been on the road long enough now, we've picked each other's cues up, and I'm kind of like looking to Aoife like, do we share this? Because I think I'm giving off the energy of, like, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and you see Aoife take a moment to think and give one last long look over Morana, and she will nod back at you.
You guys are so tired. Boy, would it be nice to have somebody else. And this person seems really capable.
You did a good job. I'm like digging around and I guess it's my bag. Like, I think, what did Hades just like send me with my little backpack?
You have all your stuff, so you don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even think I realize Hades is my
You
person.
did. You realized that in the middle because you like got the symbol.
Okay.
It came like magical. So you know Hades, and you remember the words. So those words that you heard in that vision. So
okay.
You remember that with perfect clarity, and you remember Hades is your god, and you're supposed to be here. Beyond that, it's like reaching back for memories that just
like dreamy.
There. Yeah.
Got it. So I think that in the shock and jolt and like maybe survival mode of getting out of the crypt, I'm like, oh yeah, oh, hey Hades, I got stuff to do for Hades. Do you guys know about Hades?
That's probably not a name either of you don't come from highly religious people. And
yeah, I feel like I don't know. I want to do what would it be?
Yeah, do a history check or a religion check. See what you might know about that name. So Hades certainly isn't a mainstream god by any means in the empire as it currently
stands.
Stands.
History. I'm thinking like folklore tales within like the people in my tribe what they might know. It's not going to be much. It's going to be a 4.
Yeah, nope, that doesn't mean anything to you, but you do know, I mean, the Empire, there are a lot of different cultures here, and while, this person, clearly what Morana did looks like a cleric. Like, you've seen clerics do things before, right? Turning back dead, and so you can make the logical assumption that Hades is probably the name of a god, but, like, there are so many gods, like minor gods, that people just don't, that's sort of like where you're at. You're like, I don't know beyond that.
I mean, that's something special if I don't know, it feels like you were brought here by too minor of a god, but I don't know.
I think I was. I'm just, my brain's wheels are spinning and nothing makes sense except that I had a voice, or maybe it was a dream. I think it might be a memory, but it feels more like a dream. And I have a very clear message, and that's all I got right now. But my head's still a little foggy, so maybe if I get sleep and some food, I am feeling I'm starving, and my body feels gross, and it feels like I'm wearing a skin suit. So I know that sounds,
feeling.
I know this sounds weird, but if it's okay with both of you, I would like to join you. I mean you no harm. I think what I am understanding is I'm here to help with my god. And can we find somewhere comfortable with food?
Yeah, I can only imagine what you're feeling like, and I don't think it comes close. Yeah, I think you should come with us. We'll talk more about why we're out here, somewhere softer and warmer.
Yeah. Also, at your own convenience, I think I've started to realize, like, you don't have to. Let's focus on getting there, and then if you feel good. I don't even know. Like, how about this? Let me bathe, and then I'll tell you how I'm feeling in terms of receiving information.
Yeah, so
I haven't been there.
I mean, right? So Aoife and Tony, you probably parked the hut like right here. I mean, Morana can't see it, obviously.
Yeah, as we approach, Aoife will hold out her hand, and to Morana, there is nothing. There's just open fields outside of this dilapidated estate. And Aoife will say, all right, take my hand, and there are 4 steps leading up to the front door, and once you're inside, you won't think I'm so crazy.
Well, as I grab your hand, I'm like, I did think you were very crazy to begin with.
Leading you by the hand into an invisible field.
Morana's not really paying attention to that. She's just kind of like,
there's a lot going on. There's a lot.
Yeah. Still getting back on, getting her earth legs. Yeah. She's like, I don't think you're crazy. And then, And
then you feel an invisible step, I think, beneath your foot. That you can't see, and it is a sharp and tangible reality that there is something here, something very real that you can't see.
Oh.
And she'll lead you inside.
All right, why don't you guys describe, this is fun for me, I'm gonna backseat it here, describe for Brittany what Morana sees as she steps into Cooper. Your house.
Can I tell you what I've always pictured this to look like?
Yes,
absolutely.
So the front entrance is like there's like 2 steps. Once there's steps that going in, you walk in. There's maybe another 2 steps going into like the main lofty living room kitchen space. Very open floor plan. So you walk in, and to your right is the sofa, which its back is facing the kitchen. In between, there's enough space for you to walk in through. The kitchen is on the left-hand side. It's a very large wooden dining table, large counter space all around it, where Lou used to do all of her cooking. It's still a fucking mess. Nothing has been really cleaned in a long time.
So many dishes.
It looks like two teenagers have been living here by themselves.
No, there's a
like
spell
it too.
for that.
Yeah,
There's a spell for that.
College
I don't
dorm.
know. We're not really on speaking terms right now with Gordon because he's not picking up our slack, so we're blaming him. And you'll learn about Gordon.
Oh, you'll learn about Gordon.
You'll learn. And to the right where the living room and the couch is, opposite the couch is the fire, which you can see it's glowing very warm and welcoming right now.
Beautiful.
And yes, the windows are facing outside in the entrance the side from you walked in on. And then on the opposite end where you walked in on, there's a staircase leading up to some of the bedrooms, other hallways leading to other doors. And if you just make your way in and make yourself home and find a door that doesn't seem to be labeled, you might find something just for you.
You're telling me this as we walk in?
About the doors, about like if you feel free to explore a little bit further, I'll give you a tour if you'd like. But sure.
Yeah, I think okay. Magic. I think I'm just like, yep, sounds good.
Yeah.
Magic. We're in a magical thing, and I like it. It feels
extremely
comfortable.
fucking cozy. Very like cottage core, witch house.
I think I'm kind of looking
plants
over
everywhere.
Fluffy
at
stuff.
I keep wanting to say Aoife.
Aoife.
I look over at Aoife. Like, you're telling me this, I'm just like, yeah. And I look over at Aoife and just to kind of see, like, good, I'm good.
Okay.
Am I okay to? I'm like, you just as long as she's looking for acknowledgement that like we're good. Oh yeah, you led me in with your hand. So I'm like, okay. I'm kind of trying to present the energy that Morana is feeling.
And Aoife will note, like, the bedroom at the top of the stairs, that's off limit. The other person who lives with us, Rook, that's her bedroom. And she doesn't like anyone going near it, let alone in it. So just don't even look at the stairs.
Don't even look. There's like
I'm assuming you're showing me.
There's like stairs to like the normal landing where the bedrooms are, and then there's like another set of stairs and like a single door, sort of like an attic like room. It even looks isolated and like lonely the way the hallway has made itself. So it'll be very easy to not go there if you don't want to.
I do like a little thing. I'm like, forgotten about. Don't worry. I won't go there. Gone.
Yeah.
But other than that, feel free to select a room, and as you place your hand on the doorknob, like Tony said, just think of an intention for what you want that room to be, like what your perfect bedroom would be like. But otherwise, we have a big like bathhouse room where you can bathe and relax and get comfortable.
I don't know what I want to do first. I guess I kind of like look at like kind of both of you with this. She doesn't really know how to say it, but she's like, "Can somebody come with me?" Like she's like, I think it's also because she still feels like a new guest.
Yeah.
Like when you're your first time over at somebody's house, you're like, I don't want to touch anything.
Yeah, you're like, where's the bathroom? Like, you want me to like walk past your bedroom?
Like, but like it's coming from a good place of wanting to be like really respectful, because since you invited her into your home, magic home. So she's just like, maybe if you can show me the doors that are available. I think I'm still not understanding, but like any door, any door, right?
Well, my door's black, so that's my room. But I'll
show me the doors. I can choose from, and then I'll drop my stuff off, and then if you wouldn't mind, can you show me where the bathroom or the
Yeah. So
Washroom.
as you're walking down the hall, Morana, you see a door that very much appeals to you. Whatever that means in your head, it's like, imagine, if there was like a front door in your dream house, right? Like, what would that door look like? Describe it to me.
Oh my God. Can bear with me. I have a thing. It's a feeling. There's a feeling that she has with it. I would say probably visually, it just looks like a regular ass door. Whatever the regular, the default
Got
standard
nice
door is.
solid wood door, like a kind of antique brass, handle. Like one of those nice, cute, like, cottage style homes. Quaint, charming.
The default door that is here, but the feeling calls to her. And the reason I'm saying this is I think as she kind of gets back onto this material plane, then those things will start to materialize, which, heads up, her door probably will adopt a visual style when she figures it out.
Cool. Yeah. The house adapts to you and where you are. So, yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, if you open up this door, you describe to me what your room looks like. It is designed to you. The house senses what you want and what you need and gives you that space as you open it up. So what do we see when Morana opens her room?
That's a very good question. I think what she probably sees in this very moment is just
and also, like,
very simply,
keep in mind too, like, you don't feel like you have to be too restrained by this, because this is also something, it's a really weird psychological phenomenon, but when people like wake up from comas with no memory, they still have things they like and dislike, and like it might be a surprise,
1000%.
but they kind of like, oh yeah,
I think what I'm going off of is her current emotional state.
Okay.
Her current at least that's what I'm going to base what she sees off of. Because she still doesn't really know. So just the bed, a bookshelf that's empty, a weapon rack. There's like one of those like Victorian wash bowls with some water and obviously some windows. I'd say more specifically, there is like that like book nook, the bay window thing with like pillows and stuff. That's the most adorned thing that she has. And then probably very weirdly, I don't know how to describe this other than like those Japanese style fire pits inside of the homes where you can like
kotatsu.
I forget what it's called, but like basically an indoor little fire baby thing. It's not like a hearth, but just like something you can just kind of have your thing.
Kotatsu. I was right. Haha.
Kotatsu. I didn't know what the hell it was
Animal
called.
Crossing for teaching me.
With the little fish that like
yeah.
I guess that might be outside. I don't know. I'm learning. But yeah, like that, and I don't think there's any decor. It's very functional. It's all very like what her immediate needs are, which is bed, place to put her shit. I think subconsciously she's thinking she needs to like figure some shit out, aka book nook. And then I would imagine there's also a really big fluffy kind of warm towel on the edge of the bed, beckoning her to go take a shower because that's really what she wants.
I will insert one detail, I think, in here. I think the windows in like your bay windows are set with like beautifully colored glass, like midnight blues and golds, right? That like are very reminiscent of kind of your own skin and texture, and you see like inset into the windows like the symbol that is on your face, Hades symbol, like wrought in glass.
Thank you. Yes.
I feel as the person portraying your god, I get a little bit of say in things.
Yes. Also, you know me. I have a whole Pinterest thing of like
it's beautiful. The light, falling in is just very very soothing.
Thank you. Yes. I think I take that in after I see the towel and I'm like relieved at the possibility. And then that gives me the like real release of like I'm safe.
Yeah. There's nothing like a fluffy towel to like let you know you're safe. Hitchhiker's Guide got that right.
No.
Sure.
Well, I was saying with the stained glass window.
Oh, with the window.
Like, yeah, the window I was like, oh, I'm okay. I'll have arrived. Here we are. So I just turned back.
Seeing your room, Tony is like, "Yep, so you're definitely a cleric. This is seems like your vibe for sure."
Understated. Efficient.
Yeah. A bit of a monk vibe, going on here.
Love that monk vibe, yeah. Monastic.
The window is
living.
stunning,
though.
Sterile, or not sterile, sparse, one might say.
Sparse.
Yeah.
Functional.
The washroom is down at the end of the hall, so it's a fabulous bath. I highly recommend. It's usually my go-to after a long day out, so take your time.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. And she just kind of like is like, it's very surreal. So she's just like kind of gets her towel awkwardly and it's like, will you guys be out? Like, do I need to knock on your can I see y'all after my bath?
Yeah.
Maybe not. I don't know. If you guys are up, I would love to see you guys, but also if not, I would totally love to sleep too. I don't know. I'm open to all.
It occurs to you now that you probably actually don't need to sleep, or do you? You're not actually sure now if you sleep or not.
Yeah, well, rest. I think maybe the idea of like resting or decompressing. She's just, no, probably not. She's just like, yeah, I really have a lot of questions. There's a book and there's a lot of things. Shaky memory. Want to know about you guys. So I'm going to go bathe and get the death off of my skin.
You smell like coffee.
And out of my hair. Wash away those bad memories, the few that I have. And, I'll see you guys in the kitchen.
Yeah. I'm gonna do some tidying up and I'll make us a snack or something.
Well, real quick, Tony has the black door, right? That's you said a black door. Aoife, what door is yours? Just so I know the right thing to knock on. If that's okay.
Is a very rounded wooden door.
Super cute.
Found it. Cool. If I don't see you guys in the kitchen, I'll knock on the doors. But and then she just doesn't finish her sentence and just kind of like hurriedly walks to the bathroom.
Bathe. Yeah. So Tony and Aoife, you do have a minute here if you want to talk about what you do or don't want to share immediately.
Well, I think it's fair enough to tell her why we were there in the first place. And one thing I'm really hung up on is if she is actually a Rothwell and whether or not we shared that side of our intel with her, because I can't imagine hiding it. It's going to come up again and again. But I want them to note that we're still figuring things out and they're not really, like, they shouldn't be worried about that, with us at least. I don't want to scare them off because we still we haven't learned anything.
And Aoife starts like picking up some dishes and she's like, you see her eyes look around searching for signs of Gordon, but she starts soaking them and everything. She says, yeah, I mean, if she, I mean, those Rothwells did weird stuff, and she also has clearly been touched by death in some way. But, I mean, who knows? Maybe the fact that she's a Rothwell might come in handy, because if they died off, I bet the DeVeres were responsible for killing off their family line. So, some good old-fashioned revenge is always a good thing to use. So she could be on our side for that, at least.
As a quick interjection, do you want to find Gordon in this moment? Are you looking for him, or making sure he's not here? Is, I guess, the question.
making sure he's not here, because
if you're looking for him, let me know, and I can have him pop up at an inopportune time. Otherwise, he is sulking somewhere. He seems to be sulking a lot lately. He's been alone a lot. He seems to miss Lou, but he won't admit it, and So, yeah. Okay, so Gordon's not here. Continue on as you were.
I think that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I agree with that.
But I mean, yeah, who knows what she might remember eventually, but she seems at the moment at least honest that she can't remember anything. Yeah. And after all, having someone around who can deal with undead will probably come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're about to duke it out with some devils too, like this curator fiend situation. Having a cleric is probably going to be really nice for that. Clerics and fiends and undead. That's the clerics. Good against that shit vibe.
Mm-hmm. Do we have a way of getting in contact with Rook without writing stuff down?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Because Aoife can send an animal messenger and stuff like that at the very least.
Right. Then,
or you could write a letter, just slip it under Koopy, right? It's basically like the message spell you can do with Koopy. Pretty much indefinitely. But I guess that is writing it down, technically.
But that is still writing it, yeah. Okay, I think we should write to Rook, probably first thing, so that she doesn't, blow a fucking gasket when she gets back. And then, I guess let them in on what we're doing here.
I'm curious to hear what she says that her mission is from her god, and depending on what she says about that, we might be able to reveal some more stuff about the bigger picture, but we can save some of that for later.
Right. Yeah. And maybe see how much of the way the world is now, given that they're here representing a god. It's hard to see nowadays, so I'm curious if they even know what the status is in terms of the gods and the demigods.
Yeah, I've never heard of Hades.
Me either. Yeah. I'm really curious
now. Eldrin. The fact that she doesn't worship the mother and the father is super weird.
Yeah, so maybe,
How old is this Eldrin if it predates?
Exactly. Like, how long has she been in that fucking coffin? Where did she really come from? Yeah, I have so many goddamn questions. But it seems like there's a lot there they need to catch up on, too. So it's going to be a long night, I feel like.
Fair. Meantime, Morana, oh my god, you open the door to this bathhouse is worthy of, a Roman emperor. As you walk in, it's white marble everywhere and beautiful, palm fronds and gorgeous windows and just tubs, as big as swimming pools and every kind of, additive you'd want to imagine, just racks of beautiful soaps and lotions and potions and bubbles, and just it's also, you didn't see the outside of whatever this invisible place was, but clearly you're in some extremely fucking magical environment here, right? Like,
I mean, I don't want to expend a spell slot, but I do have detect magic.
oh yeah, I mean, you don't need a spell to tell you
I get the
how magic
buzz
this
on the
place is.
skin.
Yeah, the whoa.
I can feel it.
You don't
vibing.
remember much about the world, but you know that this is like this is
I mean,
some
my
top
nerves
level
are
fucking
functioning
magic.
currently.
Yeah, this is whatever.
Like I said, I'm born
Yeah.
with adult comprehension and with my abilities.
Yeah, whoever these two are that you've met, like the amount of resources and magical things they seem to have at their disposal is incredible. You are dealing with some very serious, heavy-hitting, I don't know, heroes, rich people, like nobles, like who even knows?
Y'all
at
have
this
that
point?
credit card that's made of metal.
Yeah, like the metal, like could
You know what I
slice
mean?
a
Like,
man.
platinum
like
Amex.
that. Yeah,
It's a platinum Amex.
it's the
Just saying,
double,
like, I've
the
had
triple black
somebody
card,
hand me
diamond
the
card.
one.
yeah.
There's heavier ones, but there's one that I'm like,
just the
True.
one.
that's
Yeah.
made of real metal.
Yeah.
Um.
So
Yeah,
you,
that's what I'm
Yeah.
kind of getting. I'm like, oh, this is like, I don't know how to comprehend this, but it's a lot. And I'm not going to ask questions. And I'm just going to enjoy the hell out of this bath because my skin feels sticky and disgusting. And my head's itchy because of the dirt of whatever. And so I think like when she's like bathing, and of course she tries all of the taps and finds the tub that suits her the best, and it's gonna be a hot fucking bath. It's gonna be hot, and she's gonna put some bubbles and enjoy the fragrances. And
What's
she's
your
gonna
favorite
allow herself
fragrance?
Ooh.
What are you drawn to?
I think of the things I would imagine I imagine this whole place is like the room of requirement. So whatever the hell I like
it's there.
subconsciously even think.
Yes.
Like she doesn't even know, but it just shows up because
the house is
the room of
reading
requirement.
you for sure.
Yes.
Yep.
God, I don't know. Like some kind of like I just recently learned this fragrance. Oud.
Like
OUD.
wood without the
Oud.
Oud.
I also know it's a fucking instrument from, I think, Egypt or whatever, the predecessor to the guitar. Oud. Yeah, like kind of a how do you even, if you know, you know. It's it's kind of like a wood,
like a sandalwoody kind of.
no, it's
A
got
fragrant
some
and dark
sweetness.
resinous wood used in incense
Resinous.
perfume and small hand carvings.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Resin's the word that I was looking for. I'm like, it's woodsy, but it's not like cedar or like, a chopped log. It's the resin is the word I was looking for. Yeah. Kind of like, and amber is kind of its own thing. Like it's a very, like oud and honey, like that. It's a kind of a rich, earthy wax. Like
Kind of
have you
makes sense
smelled
for like a
real honey?
cleric. There's something ritually,
Yeah. Oh my
about
God.
it.
What's that? Copal. Copal. Or whatever they burn. So I was raised Catholic. Like what they burn in Catholic mass.
Yeah.
Copal, oud. That kind of like. It is heavy, but just enough in a well ventilated room. It smells amazing. So yeah, she goes for that. And sorry, I got really focused on that. And I think when she's like relaxing in the bath, that's when she really can plug in to the thing, like she thinks it's probably kind of like a dreamy memory, like the sensation of what Hades like left her with.
Yeah.
Shall I read it?
Oh yeah, sure. If you want to, so these are I referred to them as the words in quotation several times, and these are burned into your memory. You will remember them forever. If you want to read it again, by all means.
Yeah, I think because she probably felt it and it shocked into her brain, but now that she's actually in a peaceful, reflective place and not
process,
she's been able to process. And so now she's going to revisit that thing that's burned into the back of her eyeballs. And which is, She's reflecting on, you may yet prove your worth, little shade. Return to the world. Be born again, so you may honor your promise. Find what was lost, repair what is broken, bring peace to the living, and in doing so, restore balance to the realms of the dead. And do so in my name. You must succeed, little shade. You will not receive another chance. And I think that's when she's just like, Hades.
My name. Yeah, in my name.
Yeah, she has it, but like I think she's at odds with the fact that whoever the body is at odds with the soul that's in it. And so I would like to think there's the feeling of memories from the body, but they haven't really illuminated. And she kind of these are more her soul memories. So it feels disconnected with the body that she's in.
Sure.
And it's very weird. So she's just like, Hades, like I have this knowledge of this God that is my God. I spoke to him. But like, how? But it's too much for her to process. So she just gets out of the bath. She knows what her thing is, and Hades is the thing for her. And she knows, she feels the promise and the return, but the words don't make sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
she gets dressed and heads down to the kitchen. And she feels great, by the way. Oh my God.
It's so comfy.
You know that
here.
feeling of a hot bath after a long day? And she smells great. And she's just like, damn. She comes down to the kitchen and she's just like, are you guys both there?
Yeah, what do you guys do?
Probably. Tony's probably back in her like home PJs, big loose pants, big shirt with her guitar, tuning it up.
Yeah, 'cause, like the kitchen and dining room is attached to it, or like super nice living room area with a big roaring fire and lots of plush couches and stuff. And it's got that feeling like everybody, has their chair like that. Like when you get, into a house like settled. Tony is in her chair playing her guitar.
That's what's so wholesome. Like she comes in and she's like,
what a culture, what a shock of environment.
It's the bathroom is so amazing. Have you guys tried the faucets? I mean, I'm sure you have, but thank you so much. Thank you very, very much for letting me come along and stay here with you. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. It's just kind of when you're like so grateful because the simple thing feels so good and you're just so like, you know what I mean? It's just like, like really, I can't express how much I appreciate you letting me use these things and stay here.
Hell yeah. I mean, glad you're enjoying it. Tony's really loving all this gratitude and like shyness that Morana's exhibiting because we never encounter this.
So true.
Oh God.
She's like, oh, well, this is cute. Like, yeah. Like, it's a new friend. Welcome. Glad you're feeling better. Have
like
some. We have like some leftovers, some stuff in the what are they called? Not
Icebox?
fridge. Icebox.
Icebox.
In the icebox.
Fantasy refrigerator. Yeah.
I think there's some tea on the
Above
kettle
ground
already.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm starving. She's like kind of drawn, I think because she's conflicted with, she realizes that she doesn't know what the etiquette is. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she's like, well, she knows, she kind of has an inkling to etiquette, but it might not be the right thing to do because she doesn't know where y'all are from and honestly what time it is, like where she's at time wise. So she's just like, are you going to be eating anything? She doesn't really know how to get to like, can I help myself or not? But she's just like, it's just like, you know what I mean? Like host rules.
I think that's an interesting. I like that a lot too. I think Tony and Aoife, that would sort of read to you as like an antiquated, like maybe this is like an Eldrin nobility or nobility thing. Interesting.
Could be I like the antiquated too.
Yeah.
Nobility or just like hella old school.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You are old school. You're giving an old school vibe, which I like. I think that's a cool, thing, and also sort of speaks to.
I was thinking of like the ancient Greek like hospitality code as well.
Yeah.
I don't think she's ancient Greek, but a la Hades. But you know what I mean? Like I'm just like, you know, like do I certainly would never help myself, but like so yeah, are you guys going to be also eating?
Tony does give a little
sorry, go ahead.
Too. No. Tony's just like loving it. Like, this is cool.
Wow, it's great.
You can probably see that she's like desperate for food. She's just hoping y'all will just make the food happen.
Yeah, Aoife reaches over towards the middle of the countertop where you see this like beautiful wooden box that she flips the lid open, and you can see there's like a Rolodex of recipe cards on the inside, and she starts flipping through them, and she's like, well, we used to live with a chef who was like the best at cooking, but she left us recipes, so we're trying. We're doing our best here. But I'll make something for us to eat.
I think oh, sorry, please. No.
She just kind of shrugs, and then she like rifles through one, and she picks one out, and she reads it, and she scrunches her face a little bit, and then you can see this like look of confidence on her face, like I can do this.
Oh, I just love the moment like when you like move out to college and you like have to realize that you make yourself dinner and you don't know fucking anything for the first time, like pasta. Oh, boiling
we've
water.
been making the equivalent of ramen noodles for like a couple weeks now. Butter noodles.
Can I kind of jump on this a little bit?
I don't think anyone here will stop you.
I think that this is kind of where Morana starts to like get grounded. She's like, I think she senses that y'all are like, yeah, food, like, oh. So she's gonna see the recipe card, and I think initially she's gonna probably feel like, fuck, I just want, like, do you have a goddamn apple or anything? You know, like, do we need a recipe? And then she's just like, again, I think politeness and etiquette is definitely starting to develop as like a intense urgency, or like it's a very present thing that she's kind of just like, why am I having a hard time with it? Oh, like, no, this is important. For some fucking reason. And she's probably just sort of like, well, if you wouldn't mind, I think I really enjoy cooking. I have the feeling that this is something that I like to do. I'm starving. How about this? May I see the card? And with both of your help, just letting me know where everything is at, I would be happy to make it, unless you wanted to, of course, Aoife.
She immediately just like thrusts it over to you.
Absolutely not.
I don't want to step on any toes, but she's like, if you don't mind, I'm more than happy to do this. But I would really appreciate if you could show me where things are in the kitchen, and if maybe, are you good at making snacks?
Snacks are where I thrive.
Party food.
Help out.
Well,
what you need.
Okay.
Nachos.
Aoife, you show me where things are, and Tony,
board.
you make a snack, because I won't be. I'm so hungry now that it would be really nice to have a snack while I would. And if she looks at the recipe card a little bit more closely. What is it?
It's a puff pastry with a goat cheese and ricotta filling. Served with seared asparagus.
Make me hungry.
Sheesh.
Sounds so
Puff
good.
pastry.
I'm going.
Who got the time?
So down. It doesn't take that long.
We froze a bunch in the fridge. In the, the fantasy icebox.
Some phyllo dough. She looks at it and maybe some of the things are a little bit new, but she gets the general gist, which also probably implies that she does know how to get around in a kitchen. She's like, yeah, I get what the gist of this
you
is.
Were just
so
being
she's
very
like, oh,
polite, and taking care of these people. Yeah, absolutely.
So she starts she's like, oh, well, do you have this, and this? Can you show me where those are?
The fun thing is, as you ask these questions and you realize, there's probably some back and forth for a bit, but then you start opening the spice drawer and then you open it again and you realize there's that spice you asked for, and then you open it again and then there's that last thing you needed. It seems the house is responding to somebody who knows what is happening and what they want.
I'm gonna take that cue to fully come online with the fact that she's like, oh, I get it, magical house, got it. Actually, Aoife, thank you so much for your help. If you want to go chill or help, I'm in my element right now, and I would be delighted in showing you my gratitude and thanks for hosting me to make y'all some food. And also, I'm desperate for food. So she gets into the kitchen and starts whipping stuff up. And it's a weird moment of her feeling really confident and certain, because this whole time she has not known, minus the moment where she knew a spell and banished some shit,
Yeah, Aoife will let you get to it while she finishes washing up, because we have no clean plates. So.
Oh, real quick. No. You took the words out of my mouth. As you were saying that, I literally had the exact same thought. I was like, you notice her cleaning as she's cooking.
Oh my God. What is that? What the hell is that?
She cleans as she cooks.
You haven't seen that before.
That's a whole ass adult right there. Fully formed in the world.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tony's just dying to ask you how old you are.
I think she probably even shoos you out of the kitchen when you try to help something, and she's like, no, I got this.
Wooden spoon.
Very much like too many cooks in the kitchen. Get out, I will clean it, don't worry. I love you. Go sit down. Enjoy yourself.
Make that sweet dip. I imagine Tony is really good at party dips.
Yeah, she's just mashing a bunch of shit because
and making cheese plates. I feel like is something you would be really good arranging. Yeah.
Yeah, anything that it doesn't really take that much effort. Yeah. So she just happens to be really good at it. Yeah. So I mean it's because of that, but yeah, she slices up some bread, throws it over the fire pit for a second. There's a little grill we throw over it to kind of broil it, get it toasted up real fast. Yeah. Mashes up some tomatoes, throw some spices in there. Damn. Maybe a little bit of dairy.
Oh shit!
And it's oh yeah,
so here you go. You're making me too hungry with all these really good food descriptions. Jesus.
Have a little nibble while you're working. I mean, I'm sure things are confusing as it is right now, but I'd love to hear anything you can tell us about yourself. I mean,
you see her as she's probably, when people can chop stuff and you're they do the thing with the fingers and they just know how to cut. She doesn't even know how she's doing it. She's doing it.
I think if I can throw something in here, I think you find yourself on occasion, you're oh man, I just chopped 6 onions. That was so much. Maybe you might be used to cooking in bulk for a lot of people. Occurs to you.
I would say considering that we're doing, she, in her mind, so yes, here's a yes and. I don't think it registers that it's too much. In her mind, she's I'm preparing food for many.
Yes. More than, it doesn't even occur to you, and you realize you're oh, wow.
So I'm just doing and I think more specifically, Tony and Aoife probably think that I'm cutting and preparing too much quantity.
Really quickly.
It's just the three of us. So she's doing that, and as she's working and she sees we're chatting, but she sees that the platter is done, and she's been working very efficiently, but this is the one time that she actually sets the knife down and walks over real quick, and you watch her struggle with not wanting to just be like a child and just fist a bunch of stuff into her mouth. So you see her really struggling to just like grab a few things and like daintily eat. And she's like looking at you and she's like, I'm sorry, can you repeat that question? She needs to eat this.
Tony's gonna take like 3 pieces of bread and then like take a fat scoop of the dip just to be like, it's okay. Like I eat like a fucking horse and and shoves it in her mouth and starts saying the question with a full mouth of food. But like, yeah, I just wanted to know like more about you. Like, you learn to cook all this stuff. Like you have a family somewhere. Who are you? Tell us about yourself.
You're gonna see her with her little like dainty thing, and she's gonna look at you, and dare I say it, like you might detect a tiniest hint of a tear, and she's just gonna like shove the rest of it in her mouth and like open hand grab another thing and scoop it and like get a couple good thick mouthfuls in before answering. And then she's gonna like take a swig and bring the cutting board over to the table as she continues to prepare things. And she's like, okay, I'm going to give you my answer, which is probably quite short. I would like to return. I would definitely want to know more about you and Aoife. I don't know. This is going to sound really crazy, but I don't really have any. My memories are. I have a foggy memory of. It's hard to explain it as a memory. It feels more of like this like dream feeling. And she goes on to describe her, literally the best she can of her literal experience of like not really knowing. She's in a sarcophagus. It was horrible. She's like, by the way, I think I would imagine in fantasy world we have the word claustrophobia. So she's going to say I am completely claustrophobic. That was horrible. I can't tell you how much I'm grateful, but I don't know how I ended up in there. I have this message from Hades, and Hades is the god of the underworld, but I don't know how to tell you that. And what I'm saying, side note, Brittany's saying this, she doesn't really know if she's, like I mean, like she was a lost soul that didn't do well in her original life and ended up in the underworld and pleaded to Hades to have a second chance so she could, enjoy paradise by having a more heroic life or worthwhile. She wanted to upgrade her soul by doing some good deeds. So she doesn't really know what her life was before that or being in the underworld is kind of what I'm imagining. So now that she's alive and conscious, she has the message from Hades, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know if she really worshipped Hades when she was alive. I don't know. Neither does she. So that's kind of what she can give you is like, I know that I am supposed to do these things, and Hades is the god of the underworld, and it sounds crazy as it's coming out of my mouth, but that's what I have to do, and I feel it in my bones. And while I was bathing in the amazing bathtub that you all have let me use, that became very clear. It sounds like a bell in my head. Like, I don't know how, it's like behind my eyelids. I don't know, but I do have this strong urge, when we were in that crypt together, the repulsive, I feel like you felt it. It's not even just a visual thing. You probably felt it, but when those creatures, like the souls that were kept there,
the undead,
the way that
undead, you said
undead, for her, undead is equivalent to non-consensual.
Yeah, it's a bad word. The undead are,
the souls did not consent to come back. Somebody ripped them from the place that they are supposed to be, and there is a horrible, like, disgusting feeling with that, and I feel that very strongly. So in that situation, it was very easy to get rid of it and put it. I actually kind of have an urge to go back and make that place right because it is still wrong. Very much so. That place shouldn't feel that way. We left it that way. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I do feel like I need to go back there and make it not feel that way.
You did remember, I think, during that episode we talked about specifically, you got the sense that, like, one day you could go back and you should resolve it, but not yet. Like, your power, you need to know more of yourself and your power. Maybe level up a bit before you can deal with that.
That's what I'm communicating, is that feeling of like she's trying to express like the desire to sanctify the dead and prevent necromancy. She's like, I just was so wrong, and I have this insatiable urge to make that right. And the memory that I have of my God is telling me that that's what I'm supposed to do. So that's all I can tell you. I don't know really who I am. I kind of have this feeling of my name, which I've told you. I don't know if you're asking where I'm from, my family. I don't know. The name that was on that crypt doesn't mean anything to me. It's just what was there, and you had to tell me what it was. So that's all about me. I'm gonna go put these in the oven real quick, but I can hear you. So you tell me about both of you. And she's putting stuff.
Also, quick question. Aoife, are you still holding that book?
Ooh, yeah, I think.
Where is it, if you are?
Yeah, it would be in. Oh, that's a good question, because the Cooper was very close by, so I think she probably just like tossed it in her bag, brought Morana in, and then she just like dropped off her bag by the front door. So I think it's just in her backpack by the front door.
Just checking. All right, yep. So you're throwing stuff in the oven.
Yes. Well, I guess a little quick summary about me. I'm from the plains. Does that sound familiar to you?
Doesn't mean anything to you.
I know what I'm assuming you mean by like grassy land.
Yeah. Very like rolling hills type of place. The shifting plains. My family and our people, we tend to travel quite a bit. We raise horses and we do a lot of trade with the neighboring cities and towns and villages, and just kind of stay off the beaten path a bit, but we interact with the world around us when we need to. But I've ventured off in the past few months away from home with Aoife here, and like we said before, we have another one who's on the road now. You'll meet our friend Rook eventually. But and Lou, who is recently went out because some big things have happened recently in our world that required they take special they leave and take care of their family and the things that they need to prioritize for now. But
so there's 4 of you in this magical place.
There's 3 of us here in this house before you came along.
3. Also, I love horses. And she's like, I guess I love horses. She's like, when she heard you say that you like grew up raising horses, she was like, I love those things. But then she's like making sense. She's like, well, so you guys live here and you go. Well, okay, I have more questions, but the plains. Tony, the plains. Right? You see her doing like mimetic, like figures. She's like Tony, the plains, horses, and it sounds like your family moved around a lot, a nomadic family, and so you're from kind of all. You know the plains really well.
Yeah, we kind of travel around depending on what season it is, you know.
That's awesome. I need to know more about the seasons in the place. She's kind of starting to get into like the, you opening more cans of worms as it trickles down. It's like, well, I need to know the seasons of the plant. She like wants to know more about all those things, but kind of like book texty, like what is the climate? Is it a how much precipitation? What kind of horses? Anyways, but she's like, well, that's awesome. I bet you guys, you're nomadic, so I bet you guys have some amazing stories. I bet you're very good at telling stories.
Oh,
Or is that safe to assume?
I didn't pick up that talent.
She checks herself.
I love
She's
to
like
plant. I'm a gardener. That's my thing. I mean, I like to play guitar. I like to fight. That's kind of these are the things I'm good at. But our people, yes, we do love to tell stories, and I love our story times. But I'm not much for one to be the storyteller. I don't really like being at the center of things. But we've got
makes sense.
Our very talented Aoife here, who's really gripping with their words, and there's a lot I could learn from her.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to push or anything, but I think I definitely want to talk to you more about plants, especially because I kind of am remembering I love to cook. So, there's some really amazing plants that can make some really delicious dishes if you know how to grow them.
Tony's got a lovely greenhouse and herb garden.
We kind of help out with a pub back in Coven, and I grow a lot of herbs and stuff and supplies for them. So
Coven, that place name means nothing to you.
But pub did mean something to me. I was like, oh, I know what that is. And she's like, oh, that's cool. And she's like, well, okay. So many questions, but before I get overwhelmed with the amount of questions that I should probably write down, Aoife, where are you from?
I'm from the Valley of Yolanthanol. It's northeastern corner of the continent, right below the northernmost mountain range.
Yolanthanol, that sounds somewhat familiar. You're not sure why.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly elves and stuff, but satyrs and centaurs and other people who don't necessarily
that doesn't
fit
sound
into
right
the
to
empire.
You. Yeah, that doesn't sound right to you, Morana.
Elves and centaurs. Should I make would this be something that I should do like a history check?
Yeah.
Yeah, like to see, like, since that, when you hear something, you're like, wait, I know that, like rings the bell.
Yeah.
And she's just like, as you're describing that, and as you're describing it, she's like, wait, I definitely know this because that sounds weird. God, I never use this dice. Please don't fucking fail me. Okay.
Going bold.
That's not bad. I don't remember what my history is. I have it up though. I rolled a 14 plus. I'm trying to use the alchemy.
Yeah.
Where is my information? Where are my stats? Actions. No, skills. There we go. History. So I have a +5 to history.
Okay. So 19.
That would be a 19.
Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. You're sure you've heard the name Yolanthanol before, and it's a northern territory, but it's not elves. It's ruled by Eldrin, right? No, and there are no Fae here, huh? It just doesn't seem to line up with what you've heard.
It's making me like, what year is it?
Yeah, I think what that would occur. You like,
I think because being polite is very much like, I don't interrupt. I'm just like, I kind of just like cock my head.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, Yolanthanol. I'm that rings a bell. And then when you say Fae and satyrs and all that, I'm like, oh, okay. I think I might know. And so she just kind of like lets you continue. Mm-hmm. Thank you. But yeah, I'm glad it rings.
Yeah.
In that realm.
And she'll say, and so I was raised by my grandparents, and I'm the oldest of 6, but eventually like Tony, wanted to make my way out from my family and write my own story in the world. And so, I just kept traveling south and more south until we came to the borderlands, or not the borderlands, to the border along the southern border where the Feywild jungle is. And we actually met because we were both working in a military encampment, and I was helping out with sewing tents and uniforms and all that kind of stuff. And I mean, eventually the two of us and Lou, who's no longer in our group, kind of fell together and started adventuring. And then we met Rook, who won this house in a poker game with a night hag named Snot Bulbous Pusswinkle. I can't remember her name.
Pusswinkle, that's a good one.
It was something.
I
like
imagine
that.
I'm like a night hag.
Grandmother Filthrot.
That's what
She kind of is like looking at both of you at that with that information.
Oh, yeah.
Like you gamble with night hags.
Oh yes,
we don't. She
Not
did.
Not in a judgmental way, more of like a kind of like awestruck.
Like, who are these people?
Like,
yeah, it adds to the
that
mystique.
sounds dangerous. She's just like, she's just gonna like not think about it too hard and just be like, well, obviously they're very cunning and intelligent, because if you can outwit a night hag with a poker game, then she's like, oh well, these are some good allies to have. She's just like, I think at this point probably the food is done in the oven. You can smell it, and so she's gonna go grab that. As she's grabbing it, she's gonna tell you like, I think I might really appreciate seeing a map, and if you could tell me, maybe get me acquainted with a map of where we're at. I just realized I have no idea where we are in general.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. And I think it's easy. There are books always like around, in kind of the dense space. And so I think, it's not hard to find a relatively up-to-date, atlas or history book. So as you're looking at sort of the map behind me, right, or the map of the plains in general from the Venture Maidens campaign guide, Morana, it all seems familiar to you. Like you recognize the shape. You're like, yes, I know this place. I've seen it, but there's so many borders and names on it that you don't recognize. You're like, yeah, the Cronus Desert, obviously. The Feywild jungles, obviously. But these city names, Phelan, Ashtar, this all seems different. And then, yeah, the Valley of Yolanthanol, and you're seeing like a border around it. And I think the more you describe about the Empire, the clearer it is to you whatever time you were in was much earlier than much of this map is now telling you. Like, the Jade Isles aren't on the map at all, or like from what you remember. Like, that's new.
That could be because of them actually erupting or somebody
discovering it.
charting.
Like, it wasn't.
Am I pre-Empire? But like the like
you recognize some
Sarina,
stuff.
the concept of the Sarina.
Yes, is familiar.
So I think that's gonna probably be where I pinpoint, because it's as soon as I realize, like, I see the mountains and the geological parts where I'm like, those are all this probably
so
very.
You're getting the sense, if you don't recognize like the elves' sovereign territory in the Valley of Yolanthanol, you must be at the point before that war was resolved.
Which I don't know about.
Right, you don't know any of that. Like, the Eldrin had all of this, right, when they appeared. They were like the Roman Empire, just fucking devastating and destroying and owning everything. You're like just before the fall of the Holy Roman Empire is like in Eldrin history is like where you're at. You're like, what? It was a long time ago.
I think I'm gonna probably be like, I'm gonna be honest. The more you tell me about this, none of these names are familiar to me, except I do recognize the Valley of Yolanthanol. There were no elves or There were no elves there. The last again, this
Didn't
is
belong
foggy.
to the elves, at least.
Well, she's gonna just kind of like,
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about elves there. Elves probably existed around and all about, but like that being an elven place was not. She's gonna kind of communicate that. She's like, I think I might not. I think the time I might have been out of touch with time is what it feels like, because this is not, these names don't look the same to me. I don't know if I'm in the past or currently in the future, but I'm hoping you can tell me. This is what, well, and Celeste, help me out with, would I kind of like know whoever was in charge or reigning at the time?
It
Like, would that
doesn't-
be something?
No, like that much knowledge isn't like that's all still blanking, but you're sure
Yeah.
things didn't look like this. And also, as I'm saying, like you're starting to piece together you were pre-war, I'm actually making a lot of assumptions that Aoife is kind of helping you.
I think
sort
that's
of.
what I'm trying to
Yeah.
role play,
Yeah.
is like she's kind of trying to
You
mentally
understand
search
very
for
little.
an anchor point.
I think Aoife is starting to realize how old
Got
you
it.
are.
Yeah.
You're
She's
not
like-
so
she's
much.
like elves?
You really don't have any context for this, but I think Aoife and
Yeah.
Tony, as you're listening, are getting a clearer sense, and in fact,
Thank
in a
you.
way that Morana doesn't quite understand.
I'm probably making comments about
Yeah.
things that, yeah, because I'm trying to. This is
It's
like
very hard.
not having
I
a
mean,
mean, is
yeah.
hard to role play.
No, you're doing. I
I'm
think
like,
you're doing a
what can I
phenomenal
say?
job, and I think Morana is also like, well, like this is sort of familiar, but this wasn't here, right? And then they're looking at that like, are you saying you were here before the Jade Isles were discovered, right? And like that's kind of helping.
It's like, what's the Jade Isles?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's helping you all understand. Like this person here is at least
The Empire's only like a couple hundred years old, right?
No, a couple thousand years.
Oh.
Damn, I've been dead that long. It's like, I don't even know.
Because I mean, the Serena herself is 400-500.
Oh yeah. Shit. Well, she's just like, yeah, that
There's
went
been
there.
there's
before.
been like 8 to 10-ish generations of Serenas, like since the inception. Eldrin live a very long time, not quite as long as elves, which can live up to like 1,000 years. But they still live 500, 600 to 800, like in there. So Morana is at least 2,000.
I don't look a day over 50.
She oh
Well, or maybe her soul, but the body.
Well, actually, really, yeah. Looking at her, what age range does Morana look like?
yeah. What do you appear as?
I don't know.
Up to you. I mean, because Eldrin, kind of like elves, also look. It takes them a really long time to look
time to
very
age.
old, right? So
I guess that's a question that's always tripped me out when talking about like long-lived
I guess
creatures.
talk about in human years. What do
Human-
you look like? Yeah,
I'm just sorry.
and then you
it's
kind of
really hard
multiply
to
that by 10 for elves. So like
I step up.
100 is like when they consider themselves like young adults. Like 100 is like 18, 17, 18 years old
Jesus.
for elves.
Whatever the Eldrin equivalent of 40 is.
Yeah, so you're probably 200, 300 years old.
Yeah, we'll go with a nice round 250.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just like, I don't know, but hi. Can you my back hurts a little bit, but I think it was because I was in a sarcophagus.
For maybe 1,000 years.
I think that
There were dates on the coffin, weren't there?
Yeah. That we're not
I
that
didn't-
old. Certainly not that old. I mean, centuries old, but not like
remember
1,000
bodies?
plus
Right.
years, right?
Yeah, no, that's what Eva's kind of trying to start to piece together.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely a problem here. Yeah. With the math.
While I was starting to prepare food, I told you guys the memory burned into me that Hades said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, this is what I have. This is what I have in my brain. I just told you about like setting the world right and blah blah blah. I think as she goes along, she'll probably get a clearer concept of that. But right now, it's like, well, I know I'm starting to get the feeling because of this dreamy sensation I have that maybe I am, because she's gonna know about magical realms and magic and like that's a normal concept. So she's like, I think I've been sent here. The feeling that I have pounding in my brain, the words that are pounding in my noggin, I am here for a reason. So I don't know how old I am, but I think y'all are gonna have to tell me what's going on in this world right now.
Yeah. I think it's becoming clearer that the mind age is different from the body's age, which is different than...
She's still not really attached to her body.
Yeah.
It's weird. She keeps looking at herself and it's weird. I don't know why, but it's like that she can't remember what she used to be, but this is different and different.
But this ain't it. Yeah.
It wasn't this.
She remembers Yelothanel. This, she doesn't remember.
Yeah.
Well, we can tell you a little bit about the body that you're in, and really just the surface of what we know is we came to that crypt based off of some information that was given to us. And we were investigating the family who was buried there. We learned that they have some connections to the people who are currently trying to take over the empire. They more or less already have. Our Sarina has been overthrown, and she is in hiding. And a member of their royal court has stepped in as sort of interim leader. And there are a lot of cities that have been cut off from trade and the rest of the world, so they need help, but everyone's taking advantage of the chaos that's happening right now. So we were in the area and had also learned about that family in that crypt and decided to check it out, see what we could find out. And then we kind of stumbled upon you in one of their coffins. They're known as the Rothwells.
She's really focused on something, so that does not ping with her. She's like, I don't know that name, but real quick, you said several things. So you are working for somebody. Also, there's a Sarina. You mentioned a couple things that I'm like, what is going on? I thought you guys were all just adventuring together, and this is your like fun homie crash pad. But do you work for an organization?
No, we don't really work for an organization.
Guild? So who are you? Well, you were searching for. You said something about the Sarina being Sarina, like that's the ruler.
Yes,
Celeste assuming Sarina.
Yeah, Sarina. That name is familiar. You're familiar with the concept. You might have known a Sarina or two in your day. You can't for the life of you remember why or who they were.
Okay, I don't. Whoever's reigning, but the Sarina, yes. But like there's a faction overthrowing. But you're researching, so you're working for somebody. She's trying to oversimplify. She's like trying to understand, like why are you doing this for the sake of this Sarina? So you're loyal to the Sarina? She's just trying to, you know what I mean? Like these are, I guess, like, what are you doing?
In a sense, yeah, we sort of have taken up loyalty with the Sarina, but there's a lot has, I guess, changed since your time. And we've been having a lot of I don't know what the right word is, conflict, I guess, with the Fae realm and inhabitants of the land, and we're trying to broker some kind of agreement, peace agreement, or at least, a working relationship with them right now to help combat a lot of the uprisings that we've been encountering.
Uprisings. She's like looking over at Aoife, and obviously she knows. Well, also like Eldrin are of Fae background. She's just like, okay, Fae Discord. She's looking at Aoife. She's looking at also you, Tony, and she's like, sounds like the world is a mess right now because.
Girl, you can say that again.
Like, she's kind of like essentially gonna want to sit and get, those like movie montages where somebody, they're just like showing you books and like bringing, the internet with the fast scroll as like the robot learns by looking at the internet. One of those montages. So she's just like, okay. And I'll put it, I guess this might be oversimplified, but I feel, this sounds crazy, but I feel like I trust you. There's kindness, and my bones aren't really rattling as I'm sitting here with you guys. Like, that hasn't really happened the way it did when those funky creature, like the undead, kind of started prickling up. Like, nothing felt good, but everything feels good here with you. So just go with me. It's woo-woo. But if I have this comfortable and safe feeling with you guys, I'm going to believe that this Sarina is a good ruler. Because I am familiar with Sarinas. They haven't always, at least my head is kind of headachy, but like there's been good ones.
Yeah, like
there's been good ones, there's been bad ones. Some are better than others, and but like it's just the person in charge of the land. And if there's an uprising and you guys are willing to go to a crypt, I'm gonna believe that this Sarina is probably a good one, probably worth. Does that make sense?
She's certainly better than the alternative, because the person who is behind orchestrating this governmental coup is certainly looking out for herself and her own ends, which we don't quite fully understand yet. But this Sarina has done a pretty good job to kind of keep the peace, and the empire, as it's called now, it's been more or less pretty stable. I mean, rich people are rich and poor people are poor. Those problems are forever.
Timeless.
But what we've been doing is that since we met down here, as she points to the map, to a place that is not marked on the map, but somewhere along the border to the Feywalk jungle, and she says, we came across some Fae, and we've explored the Feywalk jungle. We've been into the wilds, and we've encountered Fae. And we have seen that, they're not all evil and terrible and trying to steal your soul or kidnap your babies. I mean, some are that way, but, so are people. And so...
Yeah,
whatever.
You're like, I do that, Morana.
You're like, who's saying
obviously
they're evil?
And but something is driving Fae creatures out of the jungle and into the empire. She kind of motions with her finger along the map, and so people have gotten hurt, have been killed, have been devastated, have had their homes lost, and so it's made a lot of tension here, where people are unsure and uncertain and afraid of what they don't understand. And so what we're trying to do is, like Tony said, to hopefully open up a conversation and broker some kind of peace so that we can, live better together and come to an understanding about, the different ways that we live, and hopefully find some peace in that. Because the Fae, I mean, we've learned that the weapons that we've developed to deal with them, that they do something truly awful.
Well, all weapons are awful, and if there's a particularly bad one, I'm not fond of it. I do want to know more about this, but I have a quick question. Has anyone looked into why the Fae are running out of the Fae?
That's something on our very long list of things to do. But understanding what's driving them out could probably help us figure out a better solution. But
I think that if you can learn what's driving them out, it will, forgive me, I'm still new here, but it might allow a level of empathy from the people that are afraid and having a hard time. I think it's fair to say that if you are living somewhere and a bunch of strangers show up and, you can give water and give food, but if there's too many, it becomes overwhelming. And I think that's okay. But rather than just get upset and say, get out of here, understanding why people are running might be helpful. And
I think part of it is that as mortals populate and expand our civilization and everything, we're pushing at the borders of our territory and theirs.
That's the other side of it, right?
And so it's like when you clear a forest and you build your house there, the bear's got to go somewhere, and the bear's got to be mad that your house is where its feeding ground used to be, So I think that's part of it too.
That's actually extra awful, because I'm thinking of, the families having to run, but then also the realm that you're living in is getting smaller. Okay. Thank you for clarifying. There's multiple sides to this multi-sided.
So the Melwin Tavir, who's kicked the Tsarina out of office, basically, she's not really looking to deal with these problems. She's just in it for herself. The Tsarina, who we've been working with to try and find solutions to these problems, now she's, MIA currently, afraid for her life because everyone is blaming these problems on her.
Has she had assassination attempts?
Oh, I mean, she's the Tsarina. But I mean,
she is currently in hiding. Basically, the Empire is tearing itself apart trying to find her and arrest her.
Why did she go into hiding? Because people are upset?
People are upset and want to kill her and blame her for all these problems.
And she went into hiding? That's because not a very good leader. Wow.
No, Brittany, for context, staged a coup. A coup was staged against her. Melwin basically set her up politically for something she didn't do, and so
she literally had to run.
There was literally no other choice. Okay, it was run or die.
Sorry.
I saw you going the wrong way, and
you saw what I was under. I was like, wait, so she's just okay, thank you. Thank you for clarifying.
She is working in the shadows now to do everything she can for her people, but she is on the run.
She's Air Force One to some wherever the hell one of the
we know we'll see if Morana learns, but don't worry, one of our girls got her back. Don't worry, she's good.
Well, Morana's just digesting the information. She's like, okay, so that's bad. The state of the world is not good. I think that I might understand why I know that I'm here to help get souls safely from point A to point B. And considering the circumstances, it sounds like a lot of people are dying. And it sounds like power is a focal point for a lot of people around these parts. And oftentimes power is used in really funky, gross ways. And so I am here to stop that.
Yeah, it sounds like you're here just in time, and the gods are finally starting to take notice, whatever's left of them, to step in.
That would read as very weird to you, Merlin. What a weird thing to say.
Because, well, I mean, the gods are always, if you pray and...
That's not really true anymore. There are these people like 10 years ago who like destroyed the gods with this magical set of armor called what was it called? Something. Anyway,
Avatar,
you're joking. You can't destroy the gods.
Yeah. So, the Avatar, and so they use this armor because it was made from the Titans, and the Titans are these people who made the gods.
The Titans are dead.
Most of them, yeah, that's true.
No. What? She's like, hold on. She's like, are you fucking with me? I know that I am.
We've actually been to some Titan ruins. But anyway, so the Titans made the gods, and then they got the Avatar to kill the gods, and now the gods have been gone for like 10 years, and some people can still like pray to the gods, but they've mostly been absent.
She's like kind of like
oh boy.
That would be like
yeah.
That would be like if somebody in real life like let's pretend, gives you a very intense. I don't even know how to compare this. I don't know. I'm trying to like...
It's like waking up and finding out that all the hospitals everywhere were like, nope, we're closed now for just like 10 years. And then they did. So there was no one like there to help people like deal with...
Actually, that makes more sense. I would say let's pretend that in 10 years the hospital just except there's no such thing as health insurance and you get to just go to the doctor.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I'm feeling about it. Anyway, talk about it later. They're free healthcare? What? Wow. So the gods have been absent. You're saying, all right, I heard every word you said. I understand.
Technically.
It doesn't make sense. I respect it. Doesn't make sense.
We don't get it either.
But the gods are here. I
think it's like when you send a letter, and you know where the person lives, but like the postal carrier gets lost and dies on the way, so your message is never received, Like they're there, but you can't get your message to them, and they can't also write back because all of the postal carriers keep dying.
The Celeste, would the weave be the right word? The veil, or what's the word for? Like, I think Morana would understand the.
I'm not sure if she would, because magic is still here. Magic never went away. So, like the ever-present thing that is magic was always fine. So it's not something like the weave or the veil. Like magic is still here in this world.
But the divine connection.
The total, like the phone lines were cut, like to the gods, right?
Got it.
And it was.
But she.
No, you have no idea, no comprehension. You've never lived in a world like that. You're 100% sure. You don't even know what world you lived in, but 100% there was never a world where that was true. Like,
this is completely alien. I'm saying, like, currently she feels her connection to Hades, right?
You feel your connection. Well, you think you do.
Yeah, like, I mean, for all intents and purposes, considering that
you might feel if other people. It might make you wonder if other people feel the way you do now, or if you are unique in what you are now.
I think she's going to listen to Aoife explain this. She's definitely expressing bewilderment, but I think she probably doesn't know how to express, like, don't you feel Hades too?
Yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Like, no, she knows,
Oh my
like,
God,
how
somebody
divine
say, I don't know who Hades is for
I think she knows not Hades, but, like, she knows that, like,
I don't
how
think
that
you
works.
would. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But, like, she's like, well, even if you don't believe, okay, well, it sounds like some crazy shit's happened, and I don't know. Thank you both
She
very
nods
much.
slowly.
Thank you both for explaining this to me. I feel like I have too many questions for a single conversation, and do y'all like to read, or is there a way I could get a hold of some like books of recently so I can maybe catch up a little bit?
We have a few libraries in here. I mean,
Amazing.
it's
A
yours.
few?
Go for it. Yeah.
If you want to
Okay.
open a door and find another one, there you go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, how did you guys like the puff pastries, by the way?
Oh, the pastry.
Aoife has shoved like 6 in her mouth.
Did they taste good?
Oh my God, it's so good.
Incredible.
Okay. Well, anytime you want me
eyes
to
are
whip
Really
anything
did
up.
come at the right time. That's for sure.
By the way, during this conversation, the whole conversation, she has cleaned every inch of the kitchen.
Yeah,
Things
this
are
is
in-
unacceptable.
are
You can't live
perfectly
like
pa-
this.
Yeah, she is like scrubbed the grout with a toothbrush. All the dishes are put away.
Proper
Everything's
church
wiped down.
kitchen.
The floor is swept.
Aoife, like
mopped.
under the table, shows a thumbs up to Tony. Like,
Yeah, like-
"Hell yeah."
Okay, symbol, like, let's keep it. Yeah, it's good. Incredible. Yeah, so obviously we had a really big conversation. I think it was important to have. It was most of this episode. But I think the night probably continues on very much in this kind of like, whoa, catch up situation. And Morana, you can certainly get like basic history books and texts. It's not going to help you understand, contextualize what exactly is happening right now and all the ness of it, because also like these two individuals seem to know so much more than any book will be able to tell you about the Fae and the Wilds and this whole world they're involved in. But you can certainly learn a lot over the course of the evening. And
I think I'm just hoping I can tell where I was and where I'm at. Like, just like what was like gather, kind of, you know what I mean? Like,
you'll be able to like get a kind of a general sense and time period, but I think it's still like clearly something in your history is familiar with the Eldrin and the beginnings of what has become the Empire. That doesn't give you any context as to whether you were an Eldrin or where you were seeing it from, right? But you saw it wherever you were.
like what was the top 40s on the radio?
You'll
that'll give me an idea.
You'll do your best,
like,
right?
Was it the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think though over the course of the evening, this is an interesting question. So this book has a psychic weight, and I'm wondering who thinks they might be most susceptible to it. And I'm kind of interested in y'all's opinion. A book that has a lot of secrets, that can offer a lot of power, and it sort of starts to whisper psychically. Yeah, I'm looking at you, Aoife, like...
Yeah, for a podcast audience, Sage opened their eyes wildly and pointed at their head, because I think that definitely appeals to Aoife.
Yeah, there's like a low frequency vibe. Then that sort of, you're talking through with this Morana, and you're like, yeah, Tony, like this is great, cool, like the evening's going on, and you find yourself sort of just more and more, I guess, distracted. It's like something is like you hear something and it's like a noise, like an electric box or something, sort of far away. And eventually, towards the end of the night, you're all talking and laughing, and Aoife, you just keep finding your eyes like going back towards this backpack, right, like by the front door.
I think she has that kind of buzzing feeling in your head where it feels like, it's kind of just like, oh, I'm just really tired. It's probably the wine. And then she thinks about how, oh, I should grab my sketchbook so I can show Morana.
Right.
And I think she'll really enjoy my sketches. And so she gets up and she starts walking towards her bag. And then there's that sinking feeling in her chest where it's like all of a sudden her stomach drops and she has this singular focus. And what was just like a background kind of buzzing is now like just a blaring white noise where the conversation between her and Tony completely fades into the background and no longer hears the crackling of the fire, and she can only look at that backpack and almost like in a trance walks very measuredly towards her bag and picks it up in this almost robotic fashion and pulls the book out and is just staring at the cover and remembering the glimpse of ephemeral white fingers handing it to her.
And as like you look at it, and something in you delights in the fact that you and you alone, as like this weird script sort of moves across the surface of it, right? You knew it was strange in a language you didn't know, but the letters seem to take shape as you hold it, calling to your power. You, as the only one here who are worthy of being able to read this book, pick out very clearly the letters take shape. The Book of Blackfire. You see it clearly on the surface. And something tells you, if you can get away from these other people, these others who don't understand, you could probably look through this book and maybe the pages would make the same kind of sense. But not while you're here. Not with them.
And she, with both of her arms, holds and clutches a book to her chest with her straps of her backpack hooked around one arm. And she steps right to the outside of the edge of the firelight glowing from the hearth. And she says, I think I'm really tired, got a bit of a headache, and I'm gonna head off to bed.
Sweet dreams.
Well, before you go, and she just like whips up a quick like ginger, I don't know, something for headache, and just kind of like gives you the little teacup. It's like, she's kind of like enthusiastically, oh, well, I had a really nice time talking to you. I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the morning, and I hope you sleep well.
Yeah, and you can see she's kind of a little antsy, jittery, and she, waits till the moment where you exactly hand it to her, and she's like, yeah, we'll talk more tomorrow. Sorry, I better go. And she almost has this like sick look that flashes over her face, and she just marches off towards her bedroom.
You said headache? Morana's like, oh, I hate those.
Yeah. Good night.
Good night.
Storming off to your room. Yeah, Tony, Morana, is there anything else? I mean, you've officially like come into the evening time at this point. As you're getting on in the day, are you still continuing to kind of hang out here in the space or do your own thing?
I think we probably, sorry, and Nassim, please interject. Morana's feeling very much like so much more relaxed, comfortable, and she's really been enjoying connecting with you and Aoife. And I think she's also pretty good at reading the room. So she'll continue conversing with you and chit-chatting and getting to know you better. And when it's mutually kind of vibing that we split and go do our own thing, she'll, do that too.
Yeah, I think we'll probably just hanging out talking about kind of more innocuous stuff because there was a lot of information dropped now, and I'm sure you want to do your own research and read up on that a little bit more. But before we do head out for the night, Tony is just going to give a little heads up of like, by the way, there is, I guess technically there are 4 of us here because there is a
Are you trying to describe
Gordon? He is. Yeah.
No, there is a.
I was like flipping back and forth between friend, fucker, and fellow, and I was like, I don't know what this is, but
say all of them. That sounds great.
There is a gourd here.
A gourd.
A sentient gourd known as Gordon.
A sentient gourd.
He is like growing? The housekeeper, maybe.
Good question.
I'm not really sure how he works. Not really sure what happened to him. I know we've seen a lot of him in really scary ways before, but somehow he's still here and works with us.
Is this like a poltergeist, but like
kind of like bound to the house? Yeah, he kind of like was a package deal with this place when Rook got it, and he's kind of a danger.
House spirit.
If he's let out, or if he tries to ask you to let him out,
he wants to get out.
Yeah, don't let him out.
So he's kind of like not a genie, but like, so he's bound to the house. He's part of the house.
Yes, but he wants to leave the house.
He wants to leave. So a sentient spirit of the house. Okay. Mischievous.
A pumpkin. Gourd.
He's a pumpkin.
Yeah.
A talking pumpkin.
His name is Gordon. A talking pumpkin. He wants to leave the house.
Don't let him leave the house.
Don't let him leave.
I can tell you about the last time we got out of the house.
Rule number 1 of the chicken hut.
Don't let Gordon out of the house.
Real quick, is this like a cat or
No.
like an animal that's going to slip past you? Or do you have to like bring him
You have to let him out of the house. It's like a fae.
You have to.
Yeah, but he can trick you.
Reverse vampire rules.
Yeah, essentially. But if you give him, any iota of permission to leave, if you give a vampire, like, come inside, you like might not mean being official permission, and then you're fucked, right? Like that kind of.
Right.
Yes,
watch out. You have to allow them.
Yeah.
He's not going to slip between your ankles.
No.
Because that would stress me out.
But Lou somehow managed to. She made friends with everyone somehow, but like.
I mean, I'm not bothered about the pumpkin. I'm more bothered about the idea if it could slip, like I don't know if I could keep the door
No, you
closed.
could like, you can come and go as long as you don't give him permission.
That's totally fine. I can manage that.
Fae rules apply, so they can trick you in a wordy thing, but just be careful.
Yeah. I think like a robot, so it's fine. We'll see. But Gordon. I mean, it'll be a pleasure to meet him. I mean, if I ever do, I know sometimes she like kind of weirdly understands the concept of house spirits somehow. And she's like, yeah, they do their thing. Do you leave? Did he let you know if he likes treats or like a bowl of milk or some bread or something, like a cookie?
That's a good question.
Nobody ever asked.
She's asking. She's like, do you leave things out for him? Because maybe he just needs a snack.
I think maybe we should get it over with and have you meet him now, because I think it's best he knows. He probably knows you're here already, but just to prevent anything happening in the middle of the night. Hey, Gordon, you around, bud?
You hear like a little giggle like come from a basket like with that. It's got a bunch of blankets like on it by the side. Like perhaps he's been here all the time, like a little.
Ugh, God, Tony hates it. Yeah, of course he's here. Of course he's right here. Yeah, Gordon, I'm sure you've seen and heard all about our new guest here.
And Morana, you would see like a little tentacle, like a snake, like of a vine, like a pumpkin vine, a green vine that uncurls and like falls to the floor, like a snake coming out, and another one too. And then suddenly like blankets are just like up in the air as, like old lady crochet afghans, just like rain. And you see
I'm loving the visual.
Yeah, the size of a head, like a glowing with cut jack-o'-lantern, like grinning, like, and eyes, and like the flame behind it lights up. So you get this like hellish red light as this like pumpkin is launching itself on its vines and kind of like lands in the central like little coffee table area, backlit, by the fireplace. She smells of death. Yes, she does. The dead have returned, and now they're in Gordon's house. How fun, how fun. Your gods are dead, but not so dead, and here you are in Gordon's house. This will be trouble. This will be trouble, little orc. Yes, it will.
You or me? Morana says to Gordon.
And he sort of rolls, like, so he's kind of upside down and, like, landing and staring at you. You're like, how does the light stay lit as this is happening? We'll see. Perhaps both. You and I are both trapped. Someplace we were never meant to be. In suits we were never meant to wear. And nothing goes well when the mind is in a prison of the body. It can't go well. It will end so poorly.
It is uncomfortable with, like, that. Like, the literal of so what much. Gordon's doing. But also the fact that he said some shit that she's like, wait a second. Mm-hmm. Like, what's going on with you, dude? Like, I don't like that. She hates the idea of being trapped. The idea that he's trapped. And now she's like, oh, fuck. Now I kind of get why the other two told me that he's not allowed to get out. She, like, clocks it, but she's also like, well, she just kind of looks at him and she's like, what do you like, Gordon?
What do I like? What do I like?
Oh, I don't want to hear this.
Flesh.
She doesn't fucking know.
Freedom. Flesh? To do what I will. You have never known that, have you, little godling? You have never known what it is to be free, to possess your own spirit. So you cannot miss it. Lucky you!
Do you like cookies?
I will be watching from the dark. I will be watching. There are no gods in this house. Only death. And he sort of like falls off the table and rolls away, like down a hallway, but disappears very quickly, and you're not quite sure where he's gone.
That was very unnerving, but I kind of turned back to Tony and I'm like, do you compost?
Yeah, actually. If you have any, give it to me. I'll use it in my garden.
Well, I would like to take some. I think this little pumpkin fella needs some extra nitrates.
He just needs some morale. He needs some vitamins. It stabilizes.
We're gonna take some of the eggshells that I used for this puff pastry glaze, and I'm gonna crush it and make some nitrate stuff. And I don't know why she knows how to do this, but she's just like, but you know nitrates because you like to garden, so you understand composting and fertilizer. This little fucker needs some fertilizer.
Needs some balancing. He needs some omegas in his life.
He is upset and angry and very cranky.
Yeah.
But forgive me, I just met him. You probably know him better than I do.
Oh, really? Yeah, sure, we can try that. I also learned with my time in the army that you can't save everyone.
No, I'm not trying. Well, I'm not trying to save him, but he seems really uncomfortable in his little body.
I think he's more uncomfortable with the idea that he can't leave.
Well, I would be too. So, it's kind of nice to have like a snack if you can't. I mean, at least make your prison comfortable. Ugh, I hate that I said that, but like, also, why can't he leave? And then
He turns into a monster and wants to devour everything in his path.
Oh, he's a caged creature. Got it. Ooh, that's tricky.
And will turn other people into his own little Gordon
how is
children, and they'll go on to eat more people, and it's a whole infestation if that fucker gets out. So
sounds like you're speaking from experience.
yeah, I am.
One distant Halloween.
Oh my goodness. I have more questions, but I feel like I've asked a lot of questions tonight, and I really appreciate meeting Gordon. I'm gonna put this back here in the back of my brain.
Give that a minute. That relationship will build.
That needs to ruminate for sure.
Yeah. So, and I think we'll close kind of the scene on Tony and Morana for the night and revisit our darling Aoife, who has this book. What do you do the minute you get behind your door? And I sort of imagine, like, with that kind of manic energy, it's like a sort of behind Deadbolt, like, sort of, like Home Alone, walking across a parking lot, sort of like get into your car kind of moment.
And she plops onto the bed, and she's sitting in the center of her bed with the book right in front of her. And she is so tempted to open this book, but she pauses for a moment because she hears her internal voice just screaming, is like, information, secrets. Ooh, we love
secrets. And this book has so many, and it's promising it to
and
you.
So I think in that snap decision, her Fae self takes over and she transforms.
Cool. Yeah, cool. Yeah, and you transform, and something interesting happens. It's because your awareness always, when you become Fae, is just like magnified 1,000 times. And as you do so, and you realize that this book is an entity that is different from you, and you get the feeling the book is surprised, like, by this, and you become aware that there's a sentience bound within it. And as you become something powerful, you feel the book change tactics. Right? It's like you're feeling the mental shift of like, I was going to come at this one way, but then the book is going to receive you another if you open it, and you feel it. It's more respectful. It's more on the level.
Yeah, and her fingers gently graze the vellum of the cover, and she, with a long pointed nail, flicks the cover open.
And yeah, as you do so, the book falls open, like, flat, and you see the blank pages in front of you, which is a little jarring at first. But then you see that scrawl begins to appear in ink on the pages. Hello. You see becomes written. It has been a long time since I've been opened, especially by one of your kind. May I ask how you found the tomb? It says question on the page.
And in a whisper to test to see if it can hear her, she'll respond. We received information from a close contact about the Rothwells, and learned that they were worth looking into.
And the book responds in kind, so it does appear to be able to hear you, as it says, yes, the Rothwells. They were useful for a time, but then they trapped me in their dusty grave. I am glad to see the light of day once again. How can I help you? I know many things. I was born in the darkness before what you know was, and underlines itself. The world has changed, but not so much that I don't recognize it. We stand on a precipice, and I would very much like to be involved once again. So, how can I help? And it underlines once again.
Ooh. Eva certainly gets the sense of there is a negotiation to be had here, and she is contemplating.
Face senses are tingling in the background.
Help never comes for free, and so she's contemplating her tactic here, and she says, "Well, if I am to understand the kind of help that you could give, it would be helpful for us to get better acquainted. What names might have you carried in the past?"
When last my name was spoken in this mortal realm, they called me Poenya. You may call me Poe. I am not sure you would understand my name if spoken in my native tongue. The language of fiends is complicated.
Ah, I see. I know a very fine fiend myself, and so I am not altogether new with the experience of your kind, but perhaps we can find some way to help each other out.
Indeed. You've already helped me greatly by removing me from that place. I offered much power to the Rothwells. If they had listened to me and taken it in full, they would not be obliviated today. Alas, mortals are fools, but I see you are not mortal. That pleases me. Mortal kind is fickle. They are weak. They cannot do what needs to be done to preserve us all.
There is a certain short-sightedness that comes from mortality.
Indeed. And you are in a unique position, I see, to understand both sides. How interesting. What may I call you? The question mark comes.
You may call me Morphia.
Morphia. It is a fine nickname. Well then, Morphia, shall we dream together? I have much to tell you of the darkness. And that's where we're going to end the episode. Got a demon in a book.
Oh boy.
You're just like collecting sentient magic items like candy. I love this. I love this for you. So many friends.
Is that a sentient magic item or is that a soul trapped inside of an item?
Well, if you believe the mythology,
there is a fucking difference.
Fiends don't have souls, so really, what is in this book?
Yeah, good fucking question.
Good
I
fucking
know.
question.
And there is a difference between souls trapped and sentient items.
We'll learn a lot about undead, with that too. What has a soul? What doesn't? What is not? But anyway,
Well, at least
this was good. I feel like we sort of needed to have a big getting to know you conversation. So I hope you all don't mind a classic Venture Maidens episode of no dice rolls and all social RP as we do. It's autumn.
We had one roll that bombed.
Yeah, we had a couple. That's okay.
But I rolled pretty okay.
Yeah, we had some
2 rolls.
We had 2.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
You're right. We had 2 rolls. So we did it. We played the game. How you all feeling? I'm excited. I feel like now Morana's part of the crew. We can like make some plans next time and get to the action.
Kick a little undead ass.
Mm-hmm. A little fiend ass. A little fiend ass. I think is coming up. This curator, this devil. What's going on here? This devil in this
Here we go,
book?
Baby.
What's going
I'm
on?
excited.
Here?
It was a great time.
It really was. It was like really. I forgot how much I love role playing with you guys. I can't do this very easily elsewhere.
I know. It's like we've done it for years.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, y'all. Well, thanks. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been a delight. It's been a pleasure. As always, we like to take some time to say thank you at the end of every episode to our beautiful, wonderful Patreon donors. Patreon is a really fucking cool site where you can go and basically support the artists you love in any sphere, but like we are on there, patreon.com/venturemaidens. You can go and donate as little as $1 a month or up to like $50 a month to support the show. That is you all are our only source of income. You, by your donations, allow us to, I get to pay this awesome cast of people with your donations. We get to do cool shit like make books and, do con trips and such. So we really, really appreciate you. We always take some time to say thank you to the highest donor tiers. So let's go around the circle and say some thank yous, gang. So starting off with the Arnie's cohorts, thank you so much, Muffin, at the one on Drury Lane.
Thank you, Nisa McKinnon.
Tony, thank you so much.
And thank you so much to Chris.
And then for Farrah's drinking mate tier, thank you so much, Fable.
I think we did this. Brittany to Brittany, what's up? I'm ANY. Thank you, Brittany NEY.
Representing all the Britneys. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Markalai.
And a huge shout out to Noon from our Discord server. Thank you so much.
And a big thank you to one of my favorite names to say, Mrim.
And thank you very much, Steven.
And finally, Cinnamon Toast Punch. Thank you.
Y'all are delicious, beautiful humans, just like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. So beautiful, so delicious. So swirly, gleaming in my bowl. Yes, you all are great. It's been a pleasure having you here. We can't wait to do it again in a couple weeks. But yeah, I think that's good. So until next time, everybody, I have been your game master, Celeste Conowitch.
I have been your slightly less confused, but we're getting there. Eldrin Cleric Morana, Brittany Quintero.
And I, Nassim, have been your friendly orc fighter and druid, Tony Silvertail.
And I'm Sage, and I have been your secret hoarding satyr bard, Ethel Flannery.
Your secret sentient suppository of, I don't know. Yeah, thank you all. You all are great. I can't wait to see what kind of trouble we get into next time. But until then, everybody, venture away! Venture away, everybody. Bye-bye.